Day 6. False evidence appearing real. Declaw your fears by writing them down.
We're all afraid of something. Even people who seem fearless are either lying or they're able to act in spite of their fear. Fear is a natural emotion because it protects us from harm. Fear can be helpful when it's warranted. The trouble is, our modern-day fears are often irrational and based on false beliefs rather than on any real threat. You might be fearful of looking foolish in front of your coworkers while giving a presentation. You might have anxiety or feel slightly fearful much of the time without knowing exactly why. As Eleanor Roosevelt said, "You gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face. You are able to say to yourself, 'I have lived through this horror. I can take the next thing that comes along.' You must do the thing you think you cannot do." You will never be free of fear, but you can teach yourself to act in spite of fear, and even to channel it positively. You can bring an extra dose of enthusiasm to your work presentation, for example, and no one ever has to know that this energy was born out of fear. Writing down your fears in a journal is an excellent place to start exerting your influence over them. You don't need to reveal your fear to anyone but yourself, and writing out of fear is often enough to drain its power. Seeing it written on the page can make you see how silly it actually is. If it happens to be a realistic fear, you can anticipate what action you would take if your fear came true, and realize that you are actually equipped to cope with it.
Exercise your rights.
Number 1. Open your journal to a fresh page and write the date. At the top of the page, write, "I am afraid that blank." Number 2. Under that statement, write the worst possible thing that could result from this fear coming to pass. Number 3. Then write, "It is X% likely that this will happen." Number 4. Write, "If this happened, here's what action I would take." Number 5. Then write, "I feel X% equipped to handle this if it came to pass." Number 6. Read over what you just wrote and reflect on it. How realistic is the fear you just wrote about? If your fear does come true, how well equipped do you feel to handle it? Much of the time, our fears aren't very realistic, and that becomes obvious to us once we write them down. Sometimes, we're not even sure what's giving us anxiety in the first place, because the fear isn't very well defined. When we write about our fears, we name them and thus take power over them. We are able to envision what we would do if they actually took place, and we feel much better equipped to handle them.
Here are some books on coping with fear. Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway by Susan Jeffers. Fearless Living by Rhonda Britton. And Liberation from the Lie, Cutting the Roots of Fear Once and for All by Eric Gross.
He who is not every day conquering some fear has not learned the secret of life. Ralph Waldo Emerson.